When we come across the landscape of our thoughts, it's as though we are standing at the edge of a vast and bustling city. Thoughts rush by like cars on the freeway, each one heading to a different destination, carrying a different story. Now let's consider for a moment, what happens if we choose not to chase after these cars, not to react to these thoughts? It's in this decision that we may find a profound sense of peace and an unexpected journey towards self-discovery. Think of your mind as a sacred space. Within it, thoughts come and go, like visitors. Some are pleasant, others less so, but all are transient. If you don't react to your thoughts, you begin to realize that you are the host, not the guest. You have the power to welcome and observe each thought without letting it define you or your experience. By not reacting, you cultivate a witness within you, a serene observer that understands the fleeting nature of thought. This inner witness is the essence of mindfulness, a state of being fully present and aware, yet detached from the judgments and narratives we often attach to our inner dialogue. As we journey through the turbulence of our inner thoughts, it's easy to become entangled in them. But what if you simply observe them, like clouds passing in the sky? You would see that no cloud, no matter how dark or stormy, can harm the sky. In the same way, no thought has the power to harm your mind unless you grant it that power through your reaction. Now, imagine the freedom you gain when you let thoughts pass. Your mind becomes like a tranquil lake, undisturbed by the ripples of random thoughts. In this stillness, clarity emerges. You see things as they are, not as you fear or wish them to be. This clarity is the first step towards a life lived with intention rather than reaction. Every thought carries with it a potential energy that can be used to build or to destroy. By not reacting, you conserve this energy, and it becomes available for you to direct in ways that are constructive and aligned with your true purpose. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Let's take a moment to reflect on the energy of our thoughts. Every reaction we have to a thought is like sending out a wave of energy. This energy can either feed the positive or negative aspects of our lives. By choosing not to react, we interrupt this pattern. We stop feeding the cycles of negativity that can hold us captive. Instead, we can redirect that energy towards actions and thoughts that uplift and support our well-being. This practice is not about suppression, where you might try to force thoughts out of your mind, which can often lead to the opposite effect. It's about letting them be, giving them space to arise and dissipate on their own, without interference. With time, you may notice that thoughts lose their intensity and their power over your emotional state. They become like background noise, present but not disruptive. In this silence of non-reaction, you might find insights that were previously drowned out by the constant chatter. Insights into who you are beyond your thoughts, beyond the stories you've been told or have told yourself. And here lies a deep question for you to sit with. Who are you in the absence of your thoughts? As you let that question linger, without rushing to answer it, you might encounter a profound truth. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the consciousness that experiences them but is not confined by them. In this first lesson about the power of non-reaction to thoughts, we've uncovered a gateway to peace and self-awareness. Non-reaction is not a passive state. It's an active practice of allowing your true nature to shine through the veil of thought. Now, as we pause here, I invite you to feel the stillness that non-reaction brings. Notice the space it creates in your mind, the room it offers for your true self to breathe and expand. In the next part, we'll delve deeper into how this space can be a fertile ground for transformation. The alchemy of stillness, transmuting thoughts into conscious action. When we decide not to engage with every thought that crosses our mind, we are not avoiding or neglecting our responsibilities. Rather, we are choosing to respond from a place of calm and considered wisdom. This choice marks the beginning of a transformation, one in which we move from being reactive beings to becoming architects of our own reality. By allowing thoughts to pass without reaction, we conserve our inner resources and can redirect them towards conscious action. Conscious action is vastly different from a mere reaction. It is action that is deliberate, chosen, and aligned with our deepest values. It is the result of a clear and present mind that has sifted through the noise and found a signal, a direction that resonates with the heart. In the stillness that non-reaction affords us, we find the clarity to recognize which thoughts deserve our energy and which do not. This discernment is crucial. It is like separating wheat from chaff, finding the valuable kernels of insight and inspiration hidden within the husk of incessant inner chatter. Consider the energy of a thought as a seed. By reacting to it, we plant it, and it begins to take root in our consciousness. However, by observing it with detachment, we have the choice to select only the seeds that will grow into the beautiful garden we wish to cultivate in our inner world. This garden is our life, filled with the flowers of our chosen actions, beliefs, and experiences. Now, let's reflect on the nature of our reactions. Often they are automatic and steeped in past conditioning. By choosing non-reaction, we break the cycle of old habits and patterns. We give ourselves the chance to write a new story, one that is created with intention rather than dictated by past programming. Think of a time when a thought provoked a strong emotional reaction. Perhaps it was a thought of worry, anger, or fear. By reacting, we might have spiraled into a state of anxiety or conflict. Now imagine if instead, you had simply observed the thought, acknowledged its presence, and let it pass. You would have remained centered, your peace undisturbed. This is not to say that we ignore the messages our emotions bring. Emotions are important signals, but the key is to experience them without becoming ensnared by the stories that thoughts weave around them. By doing so, we remain in control of our inner state, able to navigate life with poise. So, how do we strengthen our ability to not react? It begins with cultivating presence. Presence is the art of being fully in the moment, where thoughts of the past and future lose their grip. In presence, we find the freedom to choose our response to the thoughts that arise. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation, deep breathing, or simply being in nature, can help us deepen our presence. As we practice, our capacity to remain undisturbed by thoughts grows, and a sense of inner spaciousness develops. The practical advice here is simple yet profound. Give yourself moments of stillness each day. In these moments, practice observing your thoughts without attachment. As you do, you strengthen the muscle of non-reaction, and the benefits begin to permeate all areas of your life. In this newfound space, creativity flourishes. Without the constant noise of reactive thinking, we can hear the whispers of our own creativity. Ideas and inspiration that were previously buried under layers of mental dialogue can now bubble to the surface. And so, as we wrap up this part of our exploration, I invite you to reflect on how non-reaction might open the door to greater creativity and purposeful action in your life. Consider the potential that lies in the space between your thoughts and your true actions. The dance of detachment, harmonizing relationships with mindful non-reaction. When we interact with others, our thoughts can often become amplified reflections of our emotions. If we are not careful, they can lead us into a reactive dance where each step is guided by preconceived notions and emotional triggers. But what if we chose to step out of this dance, to observe the music and the movement without getting caught up in the steps dictated by our thoughts? Non-reaction in the context of relationships means engaging with others from a place of composure and patience. It allows us to truly listen, not just to the words being spoken, but to the space between the words, the unspoken feelings, and the shared energies. This can fundamentally transform the way we relate to one another. Consider this: each time we react to another person, we are often reacting not to them, but to our thoughts about them. These thoughts are colored by our past experiences, our expectations, and our judgments. By choosing non-reaction, we allow ourselves to see the person in front of us as they truly are, not as we think they are. In doing so, we open the door to authentic connections and understanding. In relationships, non-reaction fosters a safe space for all parties involved. It's a space where one can express oneself without fear of immediate judgment or retaliation. Such a space is fertile ground for trust and deep, meaningful bonds to grow. It is vital to recognize that non-reaction does not equate to indifference or passiveness. On the contrary, it is an active practice of giving ourselves the moment to choose our response. It is the difference between a knee-jerk reaction and a thoughtfully considered reply. It's an act of strength, not weakness, the strength to hold space for our emotions and thoughts without being ruled by them. As we practice non-reaction, we may notice a shift in our relationships. The dynamics begin to change. We no longer feel compelled to engage in every argument or to have the last word. We learn the power of silence, the power of allowing others to be as they are, without the need for us to control or change them. Now, take a moment to reflect on a recent interaction with someone. How might that interaction have been different if you had practiced non-reaction? How might the outcome have shifted if you had responded from a place of calm and clarity rather than from a flurry of thoughts and emotions? The ripple effects of non-reaction in our personal relationships can extend even further, touching the community and society at large. When we embody non-reactivity, we model a way of being that is grounded and centered. We become beacons of stability in a world often characterized by volatility and haste. Here's a profound implication to consider. Our non-reaction can inspire others to pause and reflect before reacting. It can interrupt the cycle of reactivity that perpetuates conflict and misunderstanding. In this way, our personal practice of non-reaction becomes a gift to those around us, a contribution to a more mindful and compassionate world. The sovereignty of silence, embracing equanimity in the eye of the storm. Venturing into the eye of life's storms with the armor of non-reaction, we discover an unwavering stillness at our core. This stillness is not a void, but a potent source of our true power, the power of equanimity. Equanimity is the art of remaining calm and balanced, regardless of the storms that rage around us. In this practice of equanimity, we are not indifferent to the world's pain and joy, but we approach all experiences with the same level of composure. This allows us to engage with life fully, without being thrown off balance by every twist and turn. It equips us to face the most tumultuous circumstances with a heart that is ready to offer compassion and a mind that is clear and decisive. Imagine how it would feel to move through your day with such an unwavering sense of peace. Imagine the freedom of not being shackled by your reactions to every little thing that happens. This is the freedom that awaits at the pinnacle of non-reaction, a state where our inner world is not constantly disturbed by the outer world. As we deepen our commitment to non-reaction, we may find that life becomes more vivid. Paradoxically, by creating space between ourselves and our reactions, we allow ourselves to experience life more fully. We become present to the beauty in the ordinary, the lessons in the challenges, and the growth in the discomfort. In this final part of our journey, we also acknowledge that non-reaction does not mean we are devoid of action. Quite the opposite. It means that our actions arise from a place of choice rather than compulsion. They are imbued with intention and purpose. When we act from this place, our actions have the power to effect real change because they are not diluted by the noise of reactive impulses. The sovereignty we gain through non-reaction is not just for our personal benefit. It has the potential to impact the collective consciousness. When we are no longer at the mercy of our reactions, we can respond to the world's needs with wisdom and compassion. We can be agents of change, not because we are reacting against what is wrong, but because we are acting for what we know to be right. This journey towards non-reaction is a continuous one. There will be times when we falter, when the winds of circumstance blow so fiercely that we momentarily forget our anchoring in stillness. But every time we return to non-reaction, we strengthen our resolve and our capacity for equanimity. So, as we draw this exploration to a close, let us take a moment to reflect on the journey we've undertaken. From the initial understanding of the power of non-reaction, through the alchemy of stillness in our personal transformation, the harmonization of our relationships, and now to the embracing of equanimity, we have traversed a path of profound inner discovery. In the sovereignty of silence, we find not an end but a beginning. It is the start of a life lived with intention, a life where each moment is a conscious choice, and each choice is a step towards the peace and freedom we all seek. May you carry the essence of this journey with you, as a torch to illuminate your way through the darkness, as a compass to guide you back to your center, and as a reminder that within you lies a boundless reservoir of calm and strength. And with that, we conclude our exploration, not with an ending, but with an invitation to continue onwards, ever embracing the sovereignty of silence in the eye of the storm.